Oh, hello. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and look at the fancy new layout. Must be time for a new game. I'm excited about this one. This one kind of full circles another circle. We keep filling the circles around here, and I love it. Um, Two of us here were involved in an Ironsworn game when that first came out as a successful Kickstarter project for Sean Tompkin and Co. And it's still one of my favorite games I've ever played. I do wish we could have gotten Robin and or Austin back in on this one, but unfortunately that wasn't possible. So we got two equally talented people to take their places. Not really, because this is set a bajillion years in the future and not in the past. But we're bringing it all the way around because now we're playing Ironsworn Starforged by Sean Tompkin and Co. And it is a spaceborne version of the Ironsworn game. We'll get to the mechanics and all those good things in a little bit, but first we're going to meet the peoples because the peoples play the game, and without the peoples, there is no game. It's just a book. Let's start with the person that's been the most length of time that I've since I played with them. That would be Mudkip. Hello.
Hello.
You guys just
Okay.
started a new game on Thursdays. Tell me about that one.
That game is, well, the Thursday game around here is Deviant Paradox. I play a sort of a returning-ish player. Well, not player, but a returning-ish character that had a beautiful reveal on the first session a couple weeks ago. Everybody's like, oh gosh, no, not this guy again. So, related, but not the exact same character. And for those curious, they do talk to each other, and much to my expense. But anyway, I'm kind of adding a third person, which we're going to be introducing probably a little bit of our characters and a little bit about. Well, some of what we're written, I'm going to do a little more fleshing out as we kind of learn about what the world is like.
Yes.
On tonight, on Saturday nights on Starsworn, I'm going to play Dr. James Aname of Namen Station. Although Namen Station will be more of a minor reference because where we're going, there's not going to be many stations that we're going to be saying hello to. It's mostly going to be planets and the people on them.
If we're lucky, there'll be people on them. Oh, right. Thank you. While you were doing that, I was fixing your camera on Zoom, so anybody watching, you kind of moved a couple times and some green lines did some stuff. But yeah, you didn't see a thing. Editing around here is
Fine.
perfect and seamless. Next. Oh, Cara Sophia, it has been nearly as long, I hate to say it, nearly as long since I've played with you as it has been with our previous guest. What are you doing elsewheres?
I work. I play Minecraft.
Hmm. You run
I
games for
play D and
people.
D.
Yeah.
That's life. I mean, what else do you need when you have Minecraft and role
that's
playing?
that's more than enough. Yes. Uh,
Add in
so
some family, and it's all good.
and you're done. Yes. That sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm really looking forward to gaming with you again because, especially in the communal storytelling environment, because we did it before in Iron Sworn, and I know how cool that was. So, looking forward to that. And a guy I play with like every week. It's like common as dirt. We play all the time. Bison underscore Stonefist. Tell us about your current game and your nebulous plans for a future game.
Yeah, I'm here a lot. Um, I'm here 4 nights a week. The game I run is Cyberpunk Red. We call it Carnage Heights. I say it's Cyberpunk Red, but I mean it's really just the setting. We occasionally roll dice. I've fallen into the Kevin trap of rules are optional. Let's tell the story. Uh, on Thursdays, I am also in the Deviant Paradox game playing a hopeless emo, um, who is actually pretty fun. I really enjoyed describing things that he did as he was doing them. On Sunday, I play, we call him the Back Alley Batman. Um, that's Gav. He is my big lovable dumbass, who may or may not die tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We're about to get into a
Again?
big fight. We're about to get into a big fight.
Jesus. It's
And I
like the
mean, I've got a
third
big
time.
note.
It's like I have a backup character.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So yeah, that's me on Sundays.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who you playing
Oh,
tonight?
future game. When I do finally get Carnage Heights wrapped up,
Yeah.
I say I've been going to be doing that, but I've also been saying that for like half a year. Um, I plan on running Bunkers and Badasses, which is the RPG system designed after what is played in the Borderlands universe by Tiny Tina. I am super excited for that. I haven't really started making the campaign yet because I know what I'm like.
Yes.
This thing's probably going to drag on for another year, knowing
Yes.
me.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, Bunkers and Badasses. It's a different sort of system. It's extremely silly. And I'm gonna have a legal excuse to make fart jokes. So
Oh, I knew I wanted to do
not that
that
it'll
game for a
stop
reason.
me. Like, and not that it was gonna stop me, but
Take me from penciled into carved in stone. I'm in that. But we talked about your nebulous plot. Let's talk about nebulousness. This is of nebulae. Let's do this game. I mentioned it a couple times. This is Ironsworn : Starforge, just like he's Bison _ Stonefist. This is Sean Tompkin and company who did this, and it is an amazing system. We're going to get to the mechanics in a bit, but first we're going to build a whole galaxy, because you have to have some place to play, and why start small? We're going to use the
Probably
book.
want to discuss the co-op format too.
Oh yeah, we
Right
should
up
probably do
front.
that first. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an
this game's
unusual
weird.
feature.
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good point. Go ahead, you do it then. That's perfect. Tell us how that
Okay.
works.
So
Let's co-op the shit out of this.
Plus,
yeah, so this one of the things about Ironsworn and Starforged that is most intriguing is there are 3 modes of play. There's the traditional sort of play where you have a gaming master and a party. There's a solo play mode, and there is a cooperative play mode, which means all 4 of us are the GMs. We are doing this together. There is no GM. There is no one of us building the story, doing the world building. We're doing it together on camera tonight. That's what this session 0 is. And it has a very different feel when you have all of the players making it up as we go along. This is like improv on steroids.
It is.
It's a ton of fun.
It's a
And
wonderful description.
high trust group,
Yep.
because we're all telling the story together.
Yes. Speaking of high trust, it actually mentions in the book that this game is best played with smaller groups. It actually mentions 3 as sort of a rough thing, but we're good at this, so we got this. We did Ironsworn with 4, so we're good. So yes, co-op play. When you watch this, it's going to be like nothing you have ever seen, as Cars was saying. What the question isn't what happens next. The question is let's. The question is what happens next, because nobody knows. That's what I meant to say. So, and that starts, even though we've had conversations in our Discord chat and other places, that starts now as we build first our universe, then our characters, then our starting sector, and that's going to be our plan for tonight. Except for one more thing. This is specifically in the book, and I love this. There's actually a move. This game, you don't have skills and abilities. You perform moves, and one of the moves in the game that's actually in the game, and you click a button and it happens, is called setting flags. It's another safety tool, and it's a really good one, because if there are any, all the moves are listed in this game, and if there are any of those which are likely to cause triggers for any of our players, they can literally set a flag on that move, and we will play around it, or stay away from it, or skirt it as necessary. I haven't seen any flags set by anybody. Is it fair to say we've all, at least with the ones that we've chosen so far, don't have any issues or likely issues? You can't guarantee anything, but we should be good.
We haven't hit any danger places.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
High trust, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, this doesn't replace other safety systems. So the Big X, we all use a camera, so this still works. And when anybody can throw that on anybody, and we just go around. So, yes. So back to the system. The first thing we're going to do is choose our truths, as it says in the book. This is the default assumptions about this galaxy. I'm just going to read the headline versions, and then we can chat about these because I don't know if we know this one or not. But this is a series of sentences. This is a perilous future. This is a lonely future. This is a diverse future. This is a far-flung future. This is an unexplored future, a wondrous future, a retro future, an unjust future, or a hopeful future.
And
Well, that was like what we were doing with Ironsworn. We had all the options and we said yes.
Yeah.
Quite literally,
Yeah.
we said yes to
Well,
everything.
There's a
That's how-
couple that the couple that
yeah.
yeah, the
'Cause it
couple that
says-
are kind
it
of sort
says
of
in the
exclusive.
book.
Sorry, go.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry. It says in the book these are all generally true and represent your default starting place.
Yeah.
So these are the ones that we kind of like just understand that this is
Yes,
what the world
pardon
is
me, I
like.
misread that. I misread the very first thing. This isn't the choice. These are the background. Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
default setting
This
of the
is
place that we're
before
in.
we get to the choices.
Yes. Great start. Fix it in editing. Yeah, right. Here we go. Truth categories. The following section, 14 categories that we're going to use to define our setting. Scroll, Kevin. Scroll and read. It's what you used to be good at. So, we're going to read I'm just going to quickly scroll through them and then we'll get started because it's going to take a while. The cataclysm that drove us here, the exodus that was us coming here, the communities that have developed since we've been here, the iron we used to swear on, our laws, religions, whether there is or isn't magic, communication and data, medicine levels, artificial intelligence levels, what is the state of war in the space, life forms other than humans, precursors, in other words, people that were here before us, and horrors. So, do we want to choose or do we want to roll? I know the answer for me. I kind of just want to roll and see what happens.
Same here.
I'm good for rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I want this to be real random.
All right. Let's random
I
it
like
out.
rolling dice.
All right.
And we can always change anything. It's like use the dice, it'll inspire us, and then we
Yes.
choose our actual truths.
Yes. The dice never make the final decision. They only make suggestions. All right. I like this. For each category, we're gonna just go around the table. So I'll do the first one, and then we'll roll. Oh, have you guys got the rule book open?
I do.
I have both.
I do,
No?
but I don't like the way the light shines on me. So
Okay. No worries.
I don't want it open.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll read out
I
the answer.
appreciate
I
that
don't have
level
a
of
good
honesty.
dark. I don't have a good dark mode for it. So
I
Yeah.
appreciate that level of honesty beyond words. All right. Just the comments from in the book. It's okay to leave unanswered questions. Resolving contradictions. I mean, we're all adults. We can figure it out. And as we go through creating this galaxy, just keep it in the back of your head about your character and how they fit in. So somebody roll me a D100.
At the same time, this could also just be the conventional understanding of how the universe got this way, not necessarily that it is.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Yes, we are, at least two of our characters are looking for the real truth, whatever the hell that means. So, yeah, all of this.
27.
27. All right.
What
That
part?
is.
I just rolled physical
Oh,
dice.
beautiful. The cataclysm was a sudden dark matter decay.
6 indicates superweapon potentially was involved.
Okay.
Sun plague extinguished the stars in our home galaxy. Or did I read that
well,
wrong?
and we can
That's
be
one of the
either
choices,
discussing the
yes, yeah.
cataclysm of our home galaxy,
Yeah.
or we can be describing what happened to us that we are here now.
Yeah. The sector that we're in. I hate the name Sun Plague. But I just like leave it as sudden dark matter decay. But yeah, the place that the way it's in the book again, this is everything's can be changed, but we're in a place called the Forge. We ran here for reasons that we're kind of figuring out now. And by no means is the Forge a safe place, but we had to leave where we were, and the only blurb that we've got is a sudden dark matter decay led to the sun extinguish or the stars extinguishing. Um, so that could be. Let me just write it down. That could be the myth. That could be. I mean, we have to figure out how long ago this was, and I think the default is 200 years, which means that none of us would have been alive. It's sort of.
Yeah. Saying
Like-
sudden dark matter decay, like there's no like real real world, we have no idea what the heck that's supposed to mean. It sounds
Yes.
like the Forge feels the same way. Like this was the explanation they were given. What the hell does that mean?
Right.
And that might be even part of the mystery that
So the Forge
some
too,
scientists,
yeah. Is the will it happen here? That's a really good point. Will it happen
Same
here?
time.
Did we bring it here?
I mean,
Is it our fault?
Yeah.
The super weapon isn't necessarily described, so the forge could have been said weapon.
Oh, you rolled super weapon. I took the same
was-
26 from the
No, I was
original
thinking
roll.
Faris's roll after. Sorry about
Yep. No.
No, that works. Actually, I
that's-
like that.
Yeah.
like that.
okay. Let's just start over. Let's
They,
just-
no, they modify each other. I like
Yeah, they
I
do.
like that it was a sudden dark matter decay that a super weapon may have been involved.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Super weapon / dark matter.
So it was a dark matter super weapon that malfunctioned and caused a whole bunch of fun times.
And
Or it's a
destroyed
conspiracy
stars.
theory, Those are good
Yeah.
too.
That's the story anyway. Like I said, none of us would have been alive. Is 200 years, is that enough? Do we want
That's
to go
no.
even more so it's even more mythical, or 200? Okay.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I think 500 sounds like half a millennium is a really long time. Think of how little we know about the 16th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in space, I mean, the distances are so long that 500 years.
Yeah.
I would okay. How about 500 years since the Forge, like the first planet, was colonized? Because that's usually how
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
Which would
colonization
give
science
time.
fiction works.
That gives 500 years to go from one colony to what we know with Terminus and the layers that we're going to get to shortly. Okay.
So we don't know how long it's been.
But yeah, you would know day one, right? Because there's always
Yeah.
a big foo-fry. It's probably literally year 0 in the calendar.
Yeah.
So,
The current era.
Yeah. Oh, and I'd like that in that case, make it actually be 500. 500 years since colonization. Therefore, oh my God, it's an omen. Whatever happens, it's an omen.
Or
Okay.
there was a big party because of 500.
Yep. Somebody.
Well, do we want to, or do we
shit-faced and
want to
broke their
have
phone.
a random? It's year 586
There we go.
as a nice random number.
Okay.
I took the year 500 plus the D100.
Nice.
That's
586.
clever. I like that.
After colonization, AC.
Ayo.
All right, that's the very first question. So
We aren't in a rush.
no, we aren't. Second question. So somebody else. Let's do. You said you had it open, Mudkip.
I do.
So Exodus. Bison, you can be our official roller, except when you're running the section. Does that work?
Sure.
Give us another D100, and over to you.
So, it is one of those. So when the Exodus fleet set off on the ponderous journey to a new home outside our galaxy, they marked the Forge as the destination. Countless generations
Oh,
lived
wow.
off their lives aboard the Titanic ships.
They were
Okay.
awake the whole time, so it's not.
So
Wasn't cryo.
586 AC plus multi-generational travel.
So 586 could be when they got to the Forge. So that's when they started counting again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the old place really is at a level where it's mythical. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000-year voyage. Yeah, that's time for fact to turn into religion, mythology,
all kinds of good
fallacy,
things. Yeah. So, that's just kind of it for the just 3 rolls.
Yeah, there's
Next
no
roll.
secondary roll on that one.
Okay. Well, that's added a good sentence to it. So that's how we got here. It took generations.
Also explains how resources were more plentiful from breaking down the massive ships that were there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's still wreckages in, various sections of space.
Oh, I like that. Built from scavenged interstellar ships.
Yeah.
So there's no going anywhere. Like the tech that got them here.
It was one way. It was a one-way trip.
One-way trip with no moving forward, no going anywhere else either. You're committed to the forge.
So we've developed the technology new.
Yep. Well, it also gives us a good explanation of why we can't go void. We can't go interstellar, right? So, yeah. I knew there was more to that. Nice. Okay. Iron. That's got to be Bison.
Communities.
Communities.
You accidentally skipped a page.
I skipped a page. Damn it. I am having a day over here. Oh, communities. Okay. I'm a long ways away from. It's way over there on another screen. Somebody rolled D100.
Okay.
And then this time, I'm actually going to let the person I said run this section actually run this section. I'm even going to mute my fucking mic.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So, are we? I guess we're rolling our own for our own section.
And it doesn't matter. Just
go for it.
Yeah, you just want to pick one to go for it.
We'll just have you roll for all of them. So just. Interesting. I don't know if you know this about Roll20. If you just want to do the roll that was just rolled, just push the up button on your keyboard. Nice. the four direction buttons. Just push up and enter, and it'll do it again.
All right.
Whatever.
I got a 58. Dangers abound, but there is safety in numbers. Many ships and settlements are united under the banner of one of the founder clans.
So, does that imply that only one of the founder clans took over the other? Oh no, they just keep reading. Was it done? Yeah.
We have a tentative foothold in this galaxy. Each of the 5 founder clans honor the name and legacy of a leader who guided their people in the chaotic time after the Exodus. Vast reaches of the settled domains are claimed by these clans, and territorial skirmishes are common. So, the Inner Sphere.
Yeah.
5. So there are 5 major ships that survived the trip to the forge.
That's how I read that too. Yeah.
And those are probably like the 5 initial colonies.
The 5 initial colonies. Yeah. With common friction, because they've been around for 500 years. So I don't know how well we get to war. That's another one of the options. But
they didn't likely have much communication with each other during the 5, however long the travel was. So each of them are very different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because like you said, generational travel, right? So, like you said, this one lands with these beliefs. This one, creepy. I love it. Then technically this could turn into one of the what does it always take to bring humans together? Alien intervention. A common enemy. Cool.
Now we go to iron.
Yeah.
So I guess that's you then, guys.
No, Karis hasn't done one yet, right?
Oh, Karis, sorry.
What page?
88.
88. You don't have to have it open. We can skip. I forgot we were going to skip you. We can go to me.
Well, let's see. We have iron. The choices are iron vows are sworn upon the remnants of ships.
So
iron vows are sworn upon totems crafted from the enigmatic metal we call black iron, or the iron sworn bind their honor to iron blades. No, given the story we have so far, they're sworn on the remnants of the ships. I'm not going to roll. I'm going to choose that one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair. We each have a different way of doing it. Yeah, and that makes sense with what we know so far. The ships are important. And they don't even have to actually be parts of the ship.
Well, that would mean that the homeworlds are in several cases, going to be literally holy ground. Like, you would do a pilgrimage to the home planet to touch the ship to swear the vow that was going to change your life, right?
Yeah, depending on the culture, yeah.
Or the remnants of the ship.
Yeah. And again, we've got 5 different ways to do everything, right? Which we're going to figure out as if when we encounter members of the other clans. Ooh, are we from different clans? We're all from one area, so maybe not.
I wouldn't think so, you know.
No.
No.
Okay. So that's in make notes. We're all one clan to be determined at a future date.
Sios is like, woo, hegemons.
Give us a couple episodes. We found undiscovered space, and I claim it in the name of Spain. So we will be a D100 for laws, because I want this to be random.
I'll roll for you since I didn't roll for me.
Okay.
47.
47. Laws and governances vary across several domains. That's what we've got so far, right? But bounty hunters are given wide latitude, yeah, because privateers, right? As long as you got a piece of paper from one of the 5 clans, you're technically authorized. Yeah, they're universal. Yeah, their authority is almost universally recognized and supersedes local laws. That's important. So, laws are local but superseded by. It just says bounty hunters. I like the idea of. No, I was going to say a central government, but there literally isn't one. So yeah, bounty hunters.
By tradition of the prior world, before the legendary world before, kind of like how the Magna Carta is used as inspiration, even though all the countries that have that as rule of law don't actually know what the Magna Carta says.
Yeah. I think the chances of I was going to say the chances of us finding a bounty hunter are pretty small, but at least 2 of us are at least 3. No, at least 2 of us are potentially have somebody looking for them. So I actually like that. If they find you, you can't hide. There's no going to a local government. There's no claiming immunity, even with the 5 clans.
Well, and we may have, if our captain is dead, we may have technically stolen this ship.
Yep. Or at least not returned it.
Or at least not returned it. Or there could be salvage rights or something like that.
All right. Let's just keep going around. Mudkip, religions. Do we want to choose this or roll this? What are our choices?
Read them out if someone's doing it so that I know what they are too.
I'm just trying to look through the options to see if one kind of gravitates more to the story better than the others. So right now I have our gods failed us, we left them behind. Our faith is diverse as our people. I'm leaning towards that one.
Again, the 5.
And then we have the 3 dominant religious orders, triumvirate, powerful influence. So there's 3 kind of major religions that are battling for influence.
I like the faith as diverse as the people. Again, the 5 ships, 5 beliefs, right?
So even on the 5 ships, there's probably different religions that kind of built themselves. Probably some even fell during the however long the travel was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not everybody goes to the home world to swear on iron. Some people don't even take it seriously.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know they took a vow. So
magic. I want to talk this one out because I kind of don't want it. It's sufficient to my mind. The thing is, all sufficiently advanced technology appears to be magic. So do we need magic when we can just have precursor tech? Right?
I would prefer not magic. Because we're going to be figuring out the tech as we go along, and that's going to be mysterious enough.
Yeah.
I got unnatural energies flow through the forge, but what I was thinking is more along the lines of we have technology we don't understand. And we kind of treat it like magic, like precursor tech just does not make sense to us because, it's that much more advanced. I mean, 1,000 years on a ship degrades knowledge base.
So it's we've got some old tech from the ships, but
Mhm.
we run it by ritual rather than by knowledge.
A little bit. Like either
Well,
that or we simply don't know how it works.
If it breaks,
or
we're
even
fucked.
if we do know how it
Yeah.
works. I mean, like the ship talks to me. The ship tells me what's wrong and what needs to be fixed, and I can think of ways to fix it. Is that magic?
Yeah, it's
Is
the
it
second part of that was
spiritualism? Is it intuition? I don't need to know
yeah.
for the
It
plot.
says in that same one, yeah, natural energies when it says magic and science are two sides of the same coin.
We've
My
consulted the Sacred
reroll was a
User's Manual.
1.
Yes,
Yeah. My reroll was a 0-1, which is magic does not
just
exist.
not a
So I
hard
mean,
magic does not exist.
yeah.
I mean, they don't have to be exclusive. We can start with magic does not exist and then find something that breaks those rules, right?
Considering
Yeah.
there's two of us whose entire things are, hey, I need to explore something that makes zero sense.
Well,
And
that's
it's against
yeah.
conventional wisdom.
Those of us, yeah, as a cosmologist, if magic exists, I don't have a job anymore, right? If you can go Zort and dragons can fly, all the physicists have to go find a shovel to do a real job, right? Because it doesn't matter anymore. So,
That means that anything that might be considered magic, you got to get to the bottom of it.
so it's not the precursor tech is not magic, but it might as well be.
That works.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Archpriest of Osha. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah, especially with symbolism and signage as well. So, all right.
And shorthand.
Yep.
Don't forget shorthand.
Oh God.
Who's next?
Engineers in their shorthand. Since we kind of talked out the last one, can I take this one?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I did it again.
Communication and data.
Ooh, what was that again? What
Um,
data?
Communication and data. The choices are much was lost when we came to the forge. It is a dark age. The one I rolled is information is life. We rely on spaceborne couriers to transport messages and data across the vast distances between settlements, which I like.
Yep. No faster than light communication.
And then data hubs. That's a little too Netrunner.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I like the couriers. To me, this game is very space western. Like,
Yep.
so that need for a Pony Express, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no faster than light messages. Yeah, that's all.
Kind of builds on there were 5 ships that couldn't talk to each other for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big thing. I like that. Yeah. Good with that then? Some of these are quick, which is good because we got a ways to go. The next one, if just so you don't have to keep changing screens on and off, Karis, we'll just skip you. The next one is medicine.
Ooh, let's let Nick kind of.
Oh boy.
Okay, yeah.
Answer this.
Think
Yes,
about that.
yes.
What? Because you've been thinking
thank
about
you.
medicine. What
Thank
have you
you.
thought
This makes
about?
perfect sense. Yeah.
When you get to play a medical doctor, what does medicine look like in this world?
Yes.
Our advanced medical expertise lost Exodus.
So read the options out loud as you're reading them.
Oh, yes. Our advanced medical technology and expertise was lost during the Exodus. To help offset a scarcity of medical supplies and knowledge, resourceful techs call upon riggers to create basic organ and limb replacements. Orders to sworn healers to preserve our medical knowledge and train new generations of caregivers.
This sounds like an all three to me, doesn't it? Depending, like maybe one of the clans has the sworn healers, who again use ritual and magic to heal. They're using old med kits, but they have to do a ritual.
What's funny though is based on how I've described like my character's iron.
Yeah.
3 makes perfect sense for our particular clan.
Yep.
Although personally, it's like if you have sworn protectors of kind of medicine.
Yes.
The techniques of the old were lost. So like the advanced medical, we can like put that, we can patch up with this machine. That doesn't exist in this world.
Yep.
It comes down to experience and training.
Yep.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
1 in 3, but there may be a faction that still has 2.
Okay. Yep.
So,
So sworn healers. So does that? Yes. That absolutely positively would make people like your character very, very special and valued, right? Because you're the doctors of the era.
Yeah, it's like having a border doctor. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those,
I
I
was
guess,
going to say Doctor Quinn, medicine woman, but
wouldn't necessarily discount just for more narrative necessity, potentially. It's like, okay, yes, there's some technology that helps,
Yeah.
like kind of with diagnostics.
Oh yeah.
But as far as actual like on like hand work, it's the person doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of the, like you said, the advanced stuff is gone. So we haven't got the Star Trek thing where you go, and they're
You
better.
have the scanner that
Right.
it says
Yeah.
what's wrong. You lay them down on a
You
table
still,
and the thing fixes them automatically.
yeah, you're more of actual casts and crutches and gauze and old school medicine, right? Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So, let's see.
It also makes sense that if the ships themselves were broken down for settlements and parts,
Yeah.
like medicine's useful and all, but that stuff broke and nobody knows how to fix it. So
Yes.
it may as well have been used for somebody else's, like keeping fresh things alive that we need to survive.
Yeah.
he is a redneck.
So you're seeing that you're being chased.
He is being chased, but for some completely different reason.
Ooh, this one's interesting.
I would actually like to tackle this one because
Okay.
this topic
is
is
yours.
artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
and I
Ooh.
put a fair amount of thought in this as I was
Yep.
considering the nature of Raven's relationship with the ship, and I thought about getting an AI as an assistant. Actually, I think Bison thought about getting an AI too. I'm kind of thinking. So what I was kind of thinking is the artificial intelligence is not so much something you can talk to and interact with, but it is possibly built into a bunch of the systems. So the systems are reasonably smart, even where, even when I'm jury rigging stuff together, because I mean, like my character's experience is that the ship tells me what needs to be done.
Right. So
Is that artificial intelligence? Is that my intuition? Is that, that got into the territory that I don't actually need to until it becomes narratively necessary.
Yeah.
I don't need to settle. But so I'm kind of thinking that there isn't we can't talk to it and retrieve data deliberately, but we do have kind of assistance built in is
So
kind of what I'm thinking.
Smart, like with self-diagnosis, but they're not going to have a conversation with you about the political aspects of transmigrational theories, right?
In 40K, they're called machine spirits. There is some sort of rudimentary AI that runs the tech, and you can talk to it, but it's weird because it's, as to use CEOs, a lost tech.
Yeah.
So like we don't know why it works, but for some reason when we build this engine, it gets a little cranky after 5 years.
Yeah, and then my intuitive relationship with that really works, and to a certain extent, the tech has evolved with people who don't quite know what we're doing with it, so it could have evolved semi-sentience as well.
And like any engineer who's been on a ship for any period of time,
the ship talks to you.
Yeah, the ship talks to you anyway, even if it doesn't literally talk to you, which in this case it does. But I like that where it's system specific. There is no ship AI, but every system can do what it needs to do just by being told what it needs to do. And you can walk up to it and say, "What's wrong?" "Oh, the diode's all down my left side."
I kind of think that not everybody does it exactly that way.
No.
Yeah.
People
But
don't
you do.
understand it.
Because I mean that was part of the dynamic I was thinking with the prior crew is they looked at me a little oddly because I seemed to do that.
Yep, I like it. Yep, very much so. So yeah, so our answer for AI is none of the above.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Sometimes we choose all, sometimes we choose a combination of two
It's a
of them,
little bit
sometimes
of
we
the
choose
first
one.
one,
Hmm.
like a little bit,
Yeah.
but in a very non-religious sort of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
next,
And Raven is kind of an intuitive adept sort of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, one of those people that talks to their car when they're fixing it and it works. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. The Kaylee effect.
Like watching.
Or Scotty.
I don't know if you've ever seen Time Team, the archaeology thing. But one of their guys, Phil Harding, is always talking to his trench. Ooh, what's in here then? And he's got the West Country accent too. So yeah. What are you doing under here? That was Bill's voice, but that's where I stole it from. Next one is war, and I don't see the option that I want here.
Tell us the option you want.
Oh, that's what you like.
Because the logical argument which was presented as logical is that anything in anywhere but a incredibly compact space, it is too expensive to have a damn war with somebody on another star. It takes too long to get there. It takes too much. It's easy to blow you out of the sky. It just isn't financially or even remotely feasible to have interstellar wars. So the most you're looking at would be conflicts on a single planet.
Or
And
trade wars sort of
yeah,
things.
and even
Where
those,
I have
yeah,
supplies
that's
and I
going to
can
be
either choose to trade with you or not
the
given my
trade
rare
wars I like.
resource.
Because there's still the five groups, so they don't get along, but they don't all have all that they need, so they're forced to trade.
There's
But
no battle tech in this world.
yeah, there's no mechs, there's no dreadnoughts, none of that stuff. People are too busy trying to stay alive. Plus, if you don't like somebody, just move. There's 10 million stars to choose from, right?
Yeah, I could see wars happening like in system,
Yeah,
but it's generally going to be that kind of we're trying to overthrow the current planetary or the current system governor. We don't like
in
him.
system at most, but
Yeah.
a surface limited, I think would be the phrase I would want to use. So
No grand fleets drifting in.
no, it's
No.
2,000 guys fighting 2,000 guys with some shotguns in a field, right? Not quite, but close. Right? And again, on the big central planets, they've probably got standing armies, but again, that's for defense because you can't transport them across interstellar space. It just doesn't make sense.
And
Well,
there
the
are
thing
some
is-
pirate ships out in the dark
Oh, yeah.
spaces.
Preying
so-
on the
weapons.
always. If there's a trade wars, then trade items are of value, right? So
Yeah. Instead of armies, we have these bounty hunter guys.
right, yeah. So trade
Sometimes
items.
bounty hunters are also pirates a little bit on the side.
Yes.
No one ever makes money.
Privateers, yep.
So, yeah,
And sometimes somebody hires enough bounty hunters to start a war.
Yes, mercenaries.
But even then, it's too expensive to be other than small scale. So
Yeah.
So there's also the thing that comes off of this trade wars. Trade items have now real value. You don't steal gold. You steal the raw ore that gets turned into rocket fuel or whatever, right? The items you have value because they have use, not because they're shiny.
yes.
Mercenaries and guild factions, all of that. I mean, and the nice thing is we can make this up and add to it as we go along, right? When we meet the third clan, it turns out that they're based on feudal England, because that's what we decided at the time, and then we take over and kill the king, and big mercenary, the White Company and all those mercenary groups. Oh, there was even a game, not Chevalier. But they got so fancy that they became more fancy for the way they looked and for the way they fought. I forget what it was called, but Anyway, that's war. Life forms. Who wants to do life forms?
Life
forms.
You should, yeah, because you're I'm a cosmologist, but I want to talk about the planets. You're an explorer, so you do the life forms for us.
Read the options aloud.
All right.
This is a perilous and
Who's going?
Anyway, I'll head off.
I think we're
Okay.
gonna do because our Dr. James is a naturalist.
I'm gonna
right?
do Explory Boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is literally
Explorer,
your...
yeah.
Okay.
I took naturalist, so yeah, I'll kick in if I feel like I have to. But
This is a perilous and often understood about galaxy, but life finds a way. And I'll also read kind of the subtext underneath just to kind of flesh out what the seeds are. Life in the Forge is diverse. Planets are home to a vast array of creatures, and our starships cruise with spaceborne life forms riding in their wake. Oh my! Even animals from our homeworld carried aboard Exodus ships. Okay, have adapted to live within the Forge. Kind of makes sense. Next one. Many sites and planets are infested with dreadful Forge spawn, aberrant creatures that threaten to overrun other life in the galaxy. Hostile creatures born of chaotic energy. Abandoned, devastated outposts, derelict ships stand in testament to power and cunning. Don't necessarily love that one, but may come back to that as, especially with what we've talked about with the Forge possibly maybe being a super weapon on the side. Life in the Forge was seeded and engineered by, excuse me, no. Just to read it the rest of the way for
We're not even going to finish reading that one.
Life in the Forge was seeded and engineered by the Essentia, ancient entities that enact their inscrutable will in the galaxy. I'm like, that feels too, like, yes, it kind of gets into the proto-engineering, but it feels too magical for what we're kind of building. It's like,
we don't...
Yeah, it's not history, that's God's. I'm not a big fan of the Forge spawn. I like the idea that there's only humans so far.
Yeah.
I like it. Humanity.
I like life finds a way.
Yeah. It's like we kind of brought some stuff with us, but everything's kind of over 500 years learned to kind of adapt and kind of coexist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the joke about a dog in my backstory, and you know, is it really a dog after 8 legs?
Yeah. The 0G dog. Yeah. Hey, Kangaroos.
Also kind of makes sense why my character's like, I bet there's life in like the place there shouldn't be because there's so much here that something has to have found a way to live.
So life finds a way. That leaves it open to us to find all kinds of stuff and just make things up along the way. And also, I don't think any of us took a companion that was an alien. But yeah,
there's time.
So aliens do/may exist, right?
Or at least life forms that have adjusted outside of what we expect.
I like that better. Life forms, so we can discover, you know,
the Forge is home for everybody.
Yeah, we don't have to discover tabaxi. We can discover lichen on a planet, right? An entirely new form. Cool.
All right. See what we got for, speaking of aliens.
Precursors, yeah.
Okay, the choices are, over eons, a vast number of civilizations rose and fell within the Forge. Today, the folk we call grubs, scavenger crews, and audacious explorers delve into the mysterious monuments and ruins of those ancient beings. That's the one I rolled, and that's the one I actually really like, but I'm going to read the other two. The Ascendancy, a advanced spacefaring empire, once ruled the entirety of the Forge. Vaults of inscrutable purpose are all that remain to mark the Ascendancy's legacy, but those places are untethered from our own reality. And the last one is the biomechanical life forms we call the Remnants, engineered by civilizations as weapons in a cataclysmic war, survived the death of their creators. But yeah, I like the idea that it's ruins.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people who are scavengers.
And anywhere from scavengers up to the Indiana Joneses, you know, you know, you're looking for ancient history to pillage. There's no better model. So yeah, it's out there.
I want a whip.
And there are people that put themselves, because it includes, now we've also got scavengers, right? Now scavengers exist in this world, so we show up at a place and surprise some, and they panic and start to fight, or we try and talk our way out of it. So it just adds a whole new group of people. So now we got bounty hunters and scavengers and precursor
also makes sense
tech.
with the merchant guilds. So people find things inside that they sell to the merchant guilds, or, you know, it's like, hey, this is something I found.
Yeah. That's a good point. So there is a trade in precursor tech too, right? Otherwise, there's no point for them to go to get it because we talked about real value trading before, right? Nobody wants gold; they want food and space
also
parts.
a possibility that some of that that remnant tech or whatever is actually our tech.
Oh yeah,
We just don't understand it.
yep. Maybe
Some
maybe there's a sixth ship. We found a
Yeah.
whole new kind of precursor tech that turns out we know how to use it. We think we're brilliant. Oh shit! It says here ship number
Also,
6.
The most expensive precursor tech is the stuff you can show how to use,
Yes.
not just the stuff you find. If you
Yeah.
can show what it does,
Yeah.
it's way more valuable to somebody.
A flashlight that works is better than an ion drive that doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. So that there's again that whole new level of value, right? We're on the brink of building a very utilitarian society where the thing has value in as much as it is useful to me right here, right now, which is a very pragmatic way to approach it. I wrote many papers on the subject. Not to rush, but are we done with precursors then? Is that all we need?
I think so.
Scavengers?
I think for what we're gonna have for now, as we kind of delve into the world, we're probably gonna flesh that out a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Almost
As we
all of
need
this.
it.
I can
Yeah.
see every single one of these. This is I like the way it was put at the start. This is what we currently believe. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily what is currently the case,
And
especially
we
where
flesh
we are.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we flesh out reality, what actually is, as it becomes narratively necessary, and then the narrative influences what we come up with.
Yep.
This is how I write my Carnage Heights campaign.
Yeah.
And the last
Works.
the last one is horrors.
I
Yeah.
would like us to go with the second option. Most insist that so the options are put enough alcohol in a spacer and they'll tell you stories of ghost ships crewed by
Yeah.
vengeful undead. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
The second option is most insist that horrors aren't real. Spacers know the truth. I'm inclined put a pin in that one. I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And the strange energies of the Forge give unnatural life to the dead. The Soulbinders are an organization sworn to confront these horrifying entities. Hard no on that one.
Yeah.
Well, and facts, that's exactly what this is. We are world building.
That's exactly
That's
And
exactly
we're
what this
doing it
is.
as a group rather than one person. So this isn't somebody writing a campaign. This is 4 people building a world of a giant sandbox that we're going to go play in after we're done.
And so I put a pin in most insist that horrors aren't real. Spacers know the truth. I mean, part of it is there's stuff out there that's weird that isn't explained that people know they have seen and experienced, and other spacers give some credence to that. We're willing to suspend disbelief that there's stuff out there we can't explain.
That's
I
all
feel
it
like
is.
it's
Yeah,
a mix between one and
I
two.
wrote down there's shit out there we don't understand.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a mix of 1 and 2.
Oh yeah,
depending
stories
on,
everywhere.
depending
Yeah.
on where you are.
Yeah.
Like,
you go to the Spacer bar and you'll hear stories about ghosts and galaxies that are sentient.
You go to one of the home worlds or one of the first colonized worlds, and they'll write radio dramas about wild and crazy stuff.
Or you'd land on, I'm thinking of the planet from the Scum and Villainy game, where the entire planet fights itself for survival every second of every day. So it's an incredibly horrific place to be, but it has no intention of being horrific. It's just trying to stay alive, which is, from what I understand, basically the rainforest. You can't live in the rainforest. It will kill you. You can't be good enough to stay there. You live on the edges of it, near the river and things. But anyway, we're getting distracted. So yes,
And this
spacers
gets
know
into that.
horrors exist.
Yeah, and this gets into the the nature of the relationship between Raven and the ship.
Yeah.
It's just watching her, it's kind of like, okay, I don't know how she does that, but she clearly does. It's not magic, it's not spiritual. We don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
Until it becomes narratively necessary, and then we'll know.
Okay. Draw a line across the page, because I'm using an actual page and an actual pen because I'm old. We are officially, go ahead.
I just guess what I have put down just to make sure I kind of my summaries
Yep.
close. It's like people tell stories, but it's hard to tell what's truth from fiction.
That's an excellent way to put it, yes.
Yeah,
I like that.
I just wrote it in chat. Spacers know horrors exist to varying degrees of people believing them.
Yeah. Bingo.
There's lots of stories, and yes. So
We don't completely discount the stories. I mean, the stories sound outlandish, but the most outlandish that could be actually real.
Well,
it's strange out there.
that question, again, getting way up in the meta world, that question really is, do we have permission to add the outrageous? And
Absolutely.
yes, I think is our common thing is, yeah, if we want sandworms, there's going to be sandworms.
Some of the pictures in the book are actually pretty wild. So
Yeah. Okay. So we are now officially, although some of us have kind of done this already because we're those kind of people, we are now going to create our characters. That only took an hour. That was not bad at all. Less than an hour, actually. We didn't start till over 10 after. So that is our world. I've got it all bullet pointed here, but we can in our cast chat we can post that. We can also post it in our public chat for the game too, so people have an idea of the world that we're going to be playing in. But let's move on. Let's create our characters. We get character sheets and asset cards and all that good stuff because several of us bought the game because it's worth it, because support your local gamers and your people that basically developed this from a single idea up to what has turned into a very successful company with a couple of very successful games under their belt. So good for them. But we got all that good stuff. Let's start with your character's scope. The first thing it says is you are human. The people at the Forge are human. Starforge, the game, and again, this is only the game, does not directly provide options to play aliens, robots, uplifted animals, or other non-human characters. The actual mechanical aspects of your character are relatively light and can be themed to accommodate non-human entities. So if we choose to do it, it's there. It's literally what they're saying is, if you want to be an alien, fine, it's a reskin. It doesn't change anything about your character except the way you look. But as it says, the way that the world is written and the questions that were asked is based on a human or close analog to human beings, being the only sentient that we've found so far, with the possible exception of ships, if you happen to be a raven. um, We've all picked art from the game manual itself to represent our characters, those you can see around us in the darkness. The image behind us, I got to say, because we covered it up with our beautiful faces, the image behind us is actually two images from Pixabay. One of them is an actual star cluster. The second one is almost transparent, and hovering over top of it is the image of a brain in rainbow colors. So I squozed them in there, and I can't help but brag. So, there, that's done. Let's build some characters. There are 11 steps, but we just went through 18 in an hour, so this is easy because a lot of us have done these. So we're going to, and some of them we don't have to do because the Roll20 has done them for us. Like the first one, ready your assets. The asset cards are all in there, we're ready to go. What we do need to do, each of us creates a career essentially by choosing two paths. And I'm going to read the whole steps and then we'll go into them one at a time. Then you create a backstory. Then you write your background vow, the first time your character grabs iron and makes a promise. Then you board your starship. You choose your final asset, so you end up with 3. Set your stats, set your condition meters, which are all default set in the game for us. Envision your character, name your character, and gear up. So, step 1, asset cards. Those are done. We'll show you, actually you won't see examples of those as our viewers, but they are a card with the ability on them, plus 3 things that you can do with that ability. You start with one of those and you can use your experience to buy more as you go along. We'll get very specific here very shortly because you pick 2 paths to build your background. Let's start with, because it's the first one on the field, kind of nearly almost, let's start with our medic. Dr. James Aname, what is your career first, and what 2 assets did you choose because of that?
So, Dr. James Aname is a current medical doctor. He is licensed and was formerly practicing on a station, was kicked out for reasons that backstory we'll get to.
Yeah.
And as such, so he has the path of 2 paths are healer and explorer. Healer is kind of your medic kind of shaped
Yep.
kind of path. It kind of lets you kind of be better at healing things and people. Well, people specifically, although if it has flesh, it can be probably healed one way or another.
Yep.
And the other thing is because he's looking for other things, I gave him the explorer path. That he's like, he doesn't want to sit in this place that he's been for his whole life. He wants to go see more of the stars.
Perfect. So each of those paths currently, when you take them, they come with a check mark on one of the 3 items that are on each of them. So could you, with those 2 paths, just read the blurb that goes with each one of the check marks, just so we know what your character can actually. How do you heal? How does the healer path work?
So on the more technical nitty gritty, when you give medical care to heal yourself or another character, you add +1 if you're treating someone other than yourself. Take +1 or +1 momentum on a hit.
Yeah. And what skill does it use? Is it that would be wits, right?
Heal, I believe it's wits. I think it's wits or iron, whichever is higher. Mine is wits.
Wits. Okay. Yeah. So yes, you would roll with your wits, which gives you +3. In this case, depending on your healer skill, gives you bonuses to that roll. We'll get to the mechanics specifically, but that's a great example of that. And then your other one, I just wanted to give an example of one of the specific moves. And then your other one was Explorer, right?
Yes. Which, when you explore a waypoint, which is one of the moves in the game, I get to take +1 momentum on a hit. And when I finish an expedition, which is probably a more longer term play among like vows, maybe just a little bit.
Yep.
I get to score a hit, mark 1 extra tick on your Discovery Legacy track.
Okay. So we'll get into tracks and all that good stuff probably next week when we start playing the actual game. For now, yeah, you have these moves that you can use to add. They basically they add modifiers to your rolls, and we'll get to the rolls in a bit because they're cool as hell. But first, let's go around the rest of the way around the table. Scooter, damn it, get your ass out the bar. Tell us who you are, what you do. Because I love this story.
Scooter's good at 2 things: racing and lying. He is an ace, which means that when you face danger or react under fire by guiding your vehicle through a hazard or out of harm's way, you add 1 and take 1 momentum on a hit. +1 momentum. When you gain ground by maneuvering your vehicle against a foe, you add +1. If you score a strong hit with a 4, 5, or 6 on the action die, you may put yourself in a firing position. If you do, set aside the action die or note its value. If you or an ally strike using the vehicle's weapons, preset your action die with that value. This persists until you fail to score a strong hit on that move, or until you make another move which changes your vehicle's position.
Basically, you can use your vehicle as an extension of yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the way that really reminded me of like World War I fighter pilots, where you have to aim the gun with the car, right? Yeah. So
yeah, like or somebody with a sidecar Tommy gun.
Yeah, so you can actually fly.
Yeah, Scooter's if it can get you going, I'll get you there.
All right, and then what was the other ability? Because Scooter is has made some unique decisions. I don't know how much
actually
you want to give away.
I haven't read out his 3rd ability yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that
but what were the 2?
Second one was really big. When you must endure stress while piloting a vehicle, you may roll plus integrity, whichever that is. I don't know what integrity. I think that might actually just be a ship stat. If you do, take +1 momentum on a strong hit.
Your vehicle has that's its hit points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other thing Scooters get good at doing is running away with things. He's a scoundrel. When you make a move by lying, bluffing, stealing, or cheating, add +2. On a strong hit with a match, your deception creates an unexpected opportunity. Take the value of your shadow as a plus momentum. My shadow is 2. Second skill is I like the Vespa with the recoilless rifle strapped to it. Little FLCL, never hurt nobody. When you make a connection to search out a new contact, you may roll plus shadow. If you do, re-roll any dice on a miss and envision how your reputation or underworld contacts leads you to a disreputable connection. And when you make a quick escape or con your way out of a situation and burn momentum to gain a strong hit, Take +1 momentum after you reset. If you envision how this momentary success leaves you fated for future trouble, mark 2 ticks on your quest's legacy track.
You have got the longest blurbs I have ever.
It's so
Also,
much reading.
some of those. So just to give you a heads up, is the ones that aren't checked, you have to unlock with XP once we've done more with the tracks.
Yeah.
So you kind of start
You
with
only
the top
start
one.
with that
Okay.
top one.
Yeah.
All right, Raven. What 2 paths did you choose, and what career does that make you?
Well, I'm actually going to do it in reverse order. I'm going to start with my backstory.
Okay.
So, because I started with engineer in quotes, definitely in quotes.
I guess, he doesn't really have his occupation is pilot.
In quotes. Yeah, 2 of us are in quotes. I love it.
Yeah. That's okay, because mine's not on the official list. We're welcome to Dirty 20 Gaming.
Neither's mine, really.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is Dirty 20 Gaming.
Yeah.
You know, we use the mechanics to help tell the story. We don't have them drive the story.
Yeah.
So Raven is very socially awkward, kind of shy, kind of withdrawn, kind of a mouse in the corner or a wallflower. And she was a stray on the docks or at the shipyard or whatever. And she kind of sort of felt this tug towards the ship. And so she kept coming up to, kind of along the ship and was hanging around this one ship in particular, the ship we currently have. And just because she was there so much and she listened and, she'd hear while the dock workers or mechanics or whatever were working on things, she would kind of listen. But she was kind of in tune with the ship, and she would occasionally speak up and say, no, that's not actually right. That's going to cause, whatever. And of course, they try and shoo her away. It's like, who are you? You're not trained. You're just a street rat. What are you? But the captain of the ship noticed her over time, and it has happened enough that it was clear that she was right. And so he offered her a place as a junior crew on the ship. But the prior engineer got absolutely fed up with her being different because she kind of intuited the ship. She has this sort of connection to the ship. And so she knows what's wrong with the ship. She kind of knows how to fix it. Plus, she's a good scavenger and she can find, ways to jury rig things to work. But she didn't do it the right way, and she completely disregarded everything that this guy said, and he just had it because the captain wouldn't chase her off and kept letting her be in the engine area. So he left in a huff. So I sort of filled in as the temporary kind of engineer just to limp things along until they got an actual qualified engineer. And that was probably like 2 years ago, and it just never happened. It wasn't a decision, but things were working well enough that the lack of an engineer was never a pressing enough issue to ever actually happen.
So you're kind of like you're an engineering savant who can't show your work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
My best friend in
so
high
the
school.
paths I
Math.
Yeah. So the paths that I chose are gearhead, which, when you make a move to craft, repair, repurpose, or modify equipment or technology, you can add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So, she has a natural challenge to modify things. And the other path I took was tech, which when you make a move to configure, optimize, hack, or disrupt an electronic system, add +1. So the thing, and I went ahead and took a third path as my third one. I know Bison mentioned Scooter's third one as well.
Yeah.
That's later in the thing, but it really fit. And it's scavenger. And so the triangle of these three things, the gearhead, the tech with the electronics, and the scavenger, it's don't touch my baby. You won't understand how it works. If you touch it, you're going to break it, but it works pretty reliably.
Yeah, meanwhile, the guy in the back with the manuals going, this looks nothing like what you did. This shouldn't work. Cool. Okay. And my character is a cosmologist, a university professor, Fettler. The two skills, the two paths that he took because to cover that are augmented. Essentially, he's got infrared and ultraviolet vision built into his eyes. They look just like normal eyes, but he can see in the infrared and ultraviolet. So whenever I roll in anything that uses that, I get to add +1. If I roll a strong hit with a match, it turns into +2 momentum. But the other one is naturalist. So basically, when I'm gathering information about life forms or planet-side ecosystems, I add +1 and take 1 momentum if I get a hit. So that's his basic skills. So that's those, yeah.
We might want to take a moment here. One mechanic we might want to talk is kind of how the rolls work, so that +1 is meaningful.
Yeah, I was just thinking that because we need to talk about rules and momentum.
So we might want to segue into that part of the mechanics briefly.
I'm going to do a wits roll. So say my character was doing a thing, and I had to make a wits roll. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to say, because my skill tells me I get to use +1, I'm going to add 1 to the modifier. It's automatically going to roll. Well, let me hit the button. I'll show you. The game rolls for you a d6 and 2 d10s. You take the d6 and you add your modifiers, which in my case the total was +4. So I rolled a 2. If you were in close and you can see it on the screen, +4 gives me a 6. The challenge dice, which are the 2 d10s, in this case rolled a 2 and a 3. If your d6 plus your stat plus your modifier is higher than one of the rolls, that's a weak
Success.
hit. Yeah, it's a weak hit. So you succeeded, but if, in this case, I got a strong hit, my 6 beat a 2 and a 3. That is a success and a good thing happens. And that's the basics behind rolling the dice. It's always your d6 plus whichever one of your stats that you're using, plus any one of your assets that you can figure out how to work into that as a modifier, and then you roll. So in this case, it said I got a strong hit. So I succeed and a good thing happens, and I gain 2 momentum, which swings us right into momentum. You heard all of us talking about adding momentum, adding momentum, adding momentum.
And just to recap on that real quick,
Yeah.
So we're rolling a d6 plus our stuff. So those +1s are going to a d6. So the +1's pretty darn significant.
It is. Yeah.
And the challenge rating that we're going against is determined by d10s.
Yep.
So it's a real sort of narrow scale.
Yeah. I got very lucky.
As if we were rolling,
d
d20 plus your abilities and stuff, and you're working for a difficulty check of 15, for example.
Yeah. So when you score momentum, your momentum starts off at 2 in this game, and every time it says to add it, you add it, and it can go up to a maximum of 10. At any point in the game, if you decide you really need something to happen, you can use your momentum instead of your roll. So instead of doing your roll plus your stat plus your modifier, you can just say, I'm using build your momentum up to 9 or 10, and say I'm using that instead. And then you only have to roll the 2 challenge dice. And it's your momentum, which is a known number, so you know what you rolled. It's the only time in this game you know what you rolled. Is if you take your momentum and you still roll the 2 challenge dice. Remember, tying the challenge dice does not count. You have to beat them. So the math is nasty, but it's the nice thing is Roll20 does the work for us, and it shows us. We've got it on our overlay, and if you look at the bottom, if you've got it full screen, you might even be able to read them. We actually showed the dice rolls on the bottom page there, the bottom of the page. Can one of you do a dice roll, please? I want to see if it shows up on my screen. Probably not. Oh yes, it does. Look at that. Okay. So what I need you guys
you have to enable 3D dice.
Yes, you guys have to do that. So what I'm going to say then, noticed earlier, can you please change your color, just right at the bottom, if you click the little square beside your name, to a very bright color, because the default numbering on dice is black.
Oh, geez.
So I went to a white die, so if you can do a nice bright color, then people can actually see it. It's only down in the corner, and it's a fiddly little thing. I really like the way it looks, and I'm not going to change it. We're going to roll dice, and you can be able to see it. That's all. Meh. But yes, if you could change your default color to something bright so it shows up, that would be cool. Thank you. All right. So that brings us around perfectly to backstory. We've already kind of had Raven's backstory, so let's go with Dr. James. I'm reserving the right to go last.
Okay.
I'm
Backstory
getting
wise,
very petulant.
we're making sure our
Getting
dice
into
can
character.
be seen. Okay. I'm also recalculating his backstory a little bit to account for the world that we built.
Yes. Oh,
So,
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
calculations may take a bit of time. Originally, he was going to be on, space station doing things. Well, space stations aren't really practical when everything's like planet-side survival so much.
Well, there could still be a space station. I just,
Because that's where the ships dock, and then you've
Yeah.
got shuttles getting stuff up and down from the planet.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
kind of your dock is up above the planet in
yeah,
orbit.
because we've even got inter-system travel. So we've got, weirdly enough, in this game, we've got faster than light travel, but not faster than light communication, which I really like because that's, given our current physics, they're two very different problems to solve. So it's entirely likely that we could figure out how to go there
Do one
faster
before
than we
doing
can
the
send
other.
a message. So I love that. But as far as tech level, this goes back to our world building that we were just talking about. So in my head, there's space stations. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, our particular clan that we're relatively close to, I don't know if I'll probably keep it that for now. So there's a couple of space stations that are really known as like academic.
Yep.
That's kind of the one that he's still at, because he's just about finished kind of learning medicine and really doing the practicing side to like, he's officially recognized, but nobody has really kind of hired him outside of that just yet.
Yeah. And again, to jump in with the world building that
Please.
we did, it's a university sort of slash almost belief center. Like there's something more than just, they're not teaching you physics, right? They're teaching you this not mystical art, but even first aid is a real, it's different than science, right? It's different than math. So yeah, okay. I'll shut up now again for a second.
A bit more of that, although what ends up happening is he's run into a couple of patients that don't work nicely with the conventional understanding, which is kind of the what you're taught versus what you experience.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike what most people do is kind of keep their mouths shut because I'm going to be well off if I keep this profession, he's kind of more openly kind of talked to doctors that he's been around, and even they've kind of like shush.
Yeah.
To the point that bottom line is they said, okay, you're good at what you do, but we can't have you keep talking. And whether it be by deception or by an invitation, actually he accepted the invitation to tell, hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
They've given him a ticket to leave, and he's taken the ticket to go explore what else is out there.
There's more than one Sheldon on this ship. I absolutely love it. Okay, cool. So yeah, doctorate, you got your degree and stuff, and they chased you out because you keep telling the truth instead of what you're supposed to be saying. Kind of.
I keep exploring the truth instead of saying, hey, I know how to fix things, I'll go fix things. I want to go learn more instead of being just a mechanic. And they're like, I wanna hire a mechanic, not somebody who wants information.
Yeah. And what a philosopher. Get out.
Oh shit, he's thinking. Get him.
Yeah. Speaking of oh shit, he's thinking, let's get to a Bison character. No.
All right. Okay, so since we're all kind of doing this a little bit different, I'm going to read my elevator pitch.
Yeah.
So
That's
this is here's what we got. Now, I've been all across this system, running scams, racing speeders, and doing some unsanctioned deliveries. Who knew it was a game of 6 card that'd do me in? I bet too low on the convoy and lost the whole damn nebula. Grabbed the table and ran. Classic scootin' boot. If I didn't hit that damn dog while making off with the chip, we'd be aces. Jumped right in front of me, swear on iron. Crashed my bike and spilled the creds. Couldn't just leave it lying there now, though, could I? I'm not a damn monster. Nearly got caught getting that mutt to the vet, and how was I supposed to know it was the governor's dog? But she lived, and for my trouble I got no credits and a bounty on my head. I need to get out of this damn system before they string me up. Gearbox got me set up on a quick flight out of system for some beaker heads. Under the table, paid in cash, easy money. Drifting can't be much different from in-system flight, right? I better read this manual before anyone sees.
uh,
That's Scooter. He is a con man. And, he rolled too low on one con, and now he's got to run, and that's what he's trying to do.
trying to get away rather than get to something. Okay, I love it. And that, I guess, brings us around to me. I put it off long enough. My character, Dr. Belize Exter, is, well, I'll read my blurb. I've done all there is to do at that damned university. I earned the prestigious corner office before I was 25. My theories are accepted, and I've been called one of the great minds of my generation. But it's all bullshit. I spin pretty tales. I talk a good line, and my math is as good as my language skills. But I need to put myself to the test. It's time to put my credits where my mouth is, so to speak. I got the university / forced the university to pay for this mission. If I'm honest, they're probably glad to see the back of me. I want to go out here and prove either that I'm right, or what I really like to prove is that I'm wrong, because that means I'll learn something. And that's our characters. All different reasons to be on this ship. That's some backstories. Except for, we kind of bounced off this a couple times. Mutual history does, particularly Scooter, do you, we kind of went, no, you don't really, you're not directly connected with anybody, but do you know anybody here? The real question, has Scooter scammed anybody at this table?
Ooh.
Not that they would know, but he's pulled some stunts. Does he recognize a name of somebody on a list somewhere of people that got scammed, maybe on a robbery or something?
He might, probably not directly, but it's entirely possible that the station that Dr. Iname was on had been, scammed, or the result of one of his deliveries caused a drug epidemic on the station. Everybody,
It wasn't penicillin, it was crack, but who were you?
Yeah,
to know?
everybody had the shiggles. Everybody had the shiggles for a week.
Okay.
Stuff like that. It would be definitely not like he wouldn't smuggle bombs.
No. But
it would be stupid shit, like things that wouldn't be allowed on the station, but like I said, drugs that got everybody sick.
Yeah.
A luxury item that's technically banned.
So that becomes, I like that, because that becomes open. So at any point in the story, one of us can say, oh, a bad thing happened to me in the past, and Kid Scooter can go, oh, shit. That's all I want to add there.
If it's a university, there's probably some stuff that's not supposed to be had at such a place.
Oh, always, yeah.
And Scooter's definitely provided some from time to time.
Yep. I wonder if Dr. Aname and Belize would at least know of each other, maybe have been to the same conferences, maybe. Because cosmologist and explorer, maybe, not buddies. We don't drink together, but like I said, we've both given speeches at conferences and things like that.
Yeah, definitely aware of each other.
Yeah, professionally aware. I like that. Professionally aware.
I've probably read some of your work and gone, he's so close.
Yeah.
But why? But because I don't know that it's an editor that's taking what you've said necessarily, or I'm aware of it, but it's like, okay, he knows something, but the editor refuses to let the white part be said out loud. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
If Bill was putting
you're the hard
together,
because you're with the ship,
if
right?
Bill was putting, I come with the ship.
Yeah.
I'm like the ship cat. I come with the ship.
Yeah.
So if Bill was putting together the expedition, And if the Academy hired the cheapest pilot they could get without checking, so they didn't bother checking that he's not actually a pilot,
I
did
have a
you?
license. It has my name on it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
but see, they
real.
obviously didn't
It's
check.
spelt wrong, but you should.
I got it yesterday, and it's not exactly legal. But
He's got a plot license.
And
Sorry.
but so could Bill have actually chosen? I mean, Dr. James wanted to get out and away, and Bill said, "Hey, why don't you come with it? We need a medic along with us on this expedition. Why don't you come?" And so you kind of recruited him, perhaps.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. The two doctors, because you gotta have two people to study shit. Um, but so that I like that. So we have a professional awareness of each other, and you've been asked to join the expedition. Now I'm doing Monty Python, the double expedition. Yeah.
They probably heard, hey, you're looking for a doctor for an expedition. That was like, I have the exact person I need to get rid of for like a month.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yep, and yeah, Dr. Bill is more than comfortable with that. He's comfortable with the pilot. Nobody really knows, but the one I want to figure
Dr.
out.
Bill's more focused on the academic assistance. He doesn't care. It's like, oh, just whoever the guild sends.
So that leaves us Raven, and this is where this is the tough connection, right? Scooter has scammed everybody. The doctors are building a team of doctors. Does Raven know anybody?
We need a bit of sort of the timeline here, because we had tossed around some ideas of, rather than starting when you guys come on board, that we start the story after some kind of disaster damages the ship, kills the captain, because we don't have a captain. Kills the captain. Any other crew or anything we need that we don't have, it was killed in that.
Yep.
Whatever that was.
Which is why it's so
the
nice
thing
to
is,
have
the
the semi-autonomous ship. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ship I was on was cheap. I mean, it had non-certified crew.
Yeah.
It had so it was cheap. It could have needed the pilot, but needed a cheap pilot because the Academy wasn't paying very much, and brought Scooter on for that, because he's like, yep, I'm available immediately. You want to go out in the middle of nowhere? I'm your guy.
Packed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, that gets us on it, and then any shared history we can also have formed in transit before the whatever disaster happened.
One other thing I thought of is we could give Raven a connection with the ship, like an actual. Like we've met each other before. You know your ship like that. You have that connection, because there's ways to use connections in this game.
I'm the ship cat. I come along with the ship. It's like you hire this ship, you get Raven with it.
So yeah, I like that. So that's all. It doesn't have. Everybody doesn't have to know everybody else. So here's the.
Yes, I have a reason to be there.
Pie a lot. Yeah, he's got a pie a lot license.
All right. Also explains why Raven would have, whatever happened, survived, because the ship kind of said, "Hey, you want to be here," even though everybody else is kind of standing somewhere else.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's why I'm the only actual crew survivor. Yeah.
So, step 4. This is a big one. Write your vow. This game is all about vows, fulfilling vows. Various difficulties of a vow take more time, more successes, more effort to solve them. The levels are troublesome, dangerous, formidable, extreme, and epic. An epic vow, which is the big one that you're going to start with, plus you may make others during the game, takes 40 successes to achieve. This is a long-term goal. So every character starts with one. And I think we've all written our vow, right? Yeah? Okay. I'll go first this time.
Go ahead.
Mine is simply, because he's on this mission to prove what he's on this mission to prove. It's to explore the unexplored and to learn the secrets of the Forge. It's that simple to him before everything goes sideways. Next. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. Now, my vow is depends on us starting the story with a disaster.
Yep.
Because my vow is that, and particularly if essentially all of the crew has died, but I'm going to nurse this old girl back
Yep.
to civilization for a real refit because she's badly damaged in
Yep. Okay.
the cataclysm. And like the captain owner is no longer here. There's it's
Yeah. It's strictly about. Is it a vow to the ship to get her home?
um well, and it's kind of like she doesn't actually know that she took this vow,
Yeah.
but the part of the ship she happened to have her hand on while she was like, I'll get you there. I'll
It's
get
a
you there.
piece of
We
the
will get you
core.
to a
Yeah.
real refit, and
Yeah.
the
That
universe said
particular
that is a
manufacturer.
vow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a bit of iron there. Okay.
I like that. I
Cool.
like that. That particular manufacturer puts a piece of the original colony ship in every one of their
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just like a small, like a plaque or something. She puts her hand on the plaque. That's real iron.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know it. She's just, patting the ship comfortably. It's
Mhm.
like, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna get you home, and
Yeah.
the
Perfect.
universe says, "Yep, vow."
Scoots, you spoke next.
Scoots. I got to do something worthy of clearing the governor's bounty on my head. He wants me dead. He's probably got hunters after me already. But if I impress him, or I get him a new dog, I don't know. Still
Where are you
working
gonna
on that
find
part.
another eight-legged dog in this universe?
Still working on it.
Excellent. Okay, I like that because it seems like a silly thing, but it's you're taking it 100% epically serious.
Because
And
he wants to get back, because that's his neighborhood. He knows all the
the
fakes and the
marks, yeah,
fences and all the good marks,
Yeah.
and he wants to get back to that.
Yeah. Dr. James, what is your vow?
My vow is to return back to the space station, which is called Namen, with
Yep.
irrefutable proof that life exists in the void. So that's what got him kicked out, and he's going to go back with what amounts to a PhD paper, or a thesis saying, hey, no, you're wrong, and this is why.
Yes.
I'm gonna come back with receipts, bitch.
So there's essentially the forge has a central core which is relatively thickly populated, and then several rings around that which become less and less populated, and then outside the galaxy, it is common knowledge that you can't go there. It's too big. It's too far. Even faster than light drive isn't fast enough to get you where you need to go. And nothing lives out there. Something might live in another galaxy. I mean, you came here in a ship from another galaxy, so there are other galaxies, but there's nothing in the void. So your vow is to show that there's something in the void.
And
The cool part with the way the
have,
mechanics, yeah,
the FTL we have seems to be focused on the forge.
yeah,
It's something
exactly.
we've
It's fast
developed
enough to
unique
get from
the
star to
forge.
star, but not from galaxy to galaxy. Yeah.
Or there's something about the forge that only works there.
Yeah, something like Either way, yeah, we
It's anchored to it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're there to break the false belief that there's something in the void that's alive. The cool part with that, because of the way this game works, you just decided that something exists in the void because all vows must be achievable. Therefore, there's something that lives in the void, and now we have to work that into the game. So, luckily we're going
But
right
it's
next
not
door.
a god.
Yeah,
We've
we're going right
established
next door to
that.
the void, so
Yep.
we'll be fine.
And that's what the co-op mode means.
Yep.
We all determine the reality.
And that was I was kind of doing that unconsciously. I just mentioned it as doing it consciously, but I was kind of doing that unconsciously as we went through the world building part. And here's the decision we made. Okay, well, what 2 or 3 things does that change about the world that we're going into, right? Like we decided how trade works. Nobody's trading gold. Right? Gold is useless or all but useless. They're trading useful things.
Gold is
Unless
useful,
you're
just not
unless you're making wires or something, it's not very useful. So
hooter
It's-
stuff.
It doesn't corrode, and it's easy. It's malleable, and it's
oh yeah, it has,
it
but
still has
it-
uses.
it has utility. It's not just because it's shiny that it's valuable, right? Yeah. All right, let's get moving along. We're running out. We're only at step 5 out of 11.
We had fun.
Our starship. This is what's next. So we have a ship. It is an armed multi-purpose starship suitable for interstellar and atmospheric flight. So we can go into the atmosphere. It can transport several people, has space for cargo, and can carry and launch support vehicles. And you can spend experience to equip it with more and more modules. That's the base starship that we start with. It has essentially 5 hit points, and there's several conditions that can be applied to it, battered and cursed in this case. But we have to give our starship a history, and I think this has got to be a Raven-led adventure. There is a series of roles here, but Raven, I'm sure you already gave us kind of a story of the ship from when you joined a couple years ago. But so, on the spot, what's the ship's name?
Fortune's Favor, right?
Yeah, that's
Bison?
Right.
Yeah, I have, just to let the players or the people know, I had chosen there's a table later in the book that for NPCs
Yes.
that I rolled just because I couldn't figure a name for my character. I couldn't figure anything like that. I rolled it and I got Fortune's Favor, and I thought that was really cool. It's one of my favorite sayings. Fortune favors the bold, which is ironic because I'm a scaredy cat. But yeah, Fortune's Favor. It makes sense. It kind of it plays into our character's sort of general vibe and what's about to happen. It's ironic.
So that's a good name. Raven, some more history about our ship.
So, she's kind of an old ship, and that's why she's been modified over time, and stuff sort of works together, doesn't quite work together, and that's why the prior engineer wasn't
Kind of like a Millennium Falcon, just a lot of bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's been patched together, and that's very much why the prior engineer was in over his head.
Yeah.
And it has done a little bit of trade. When we don't have other jobs, but that the purpose of trade is usually to get our name kind of out there. So this academy charter is very much along the lines. And we run an absolute skeleton crew, which is why it's not that uncommon for the various charters to have people in various roles. They will maybe have a cargo master specific to their items, a pilot, who can specifically go the areas that they want to go, that knows the areas they want to go. This kind of thing is reasonably normal. I mean, the fixed roles have been the captain, the engineer. I don't know exactly what other roles. There's going to be one that's going to be equivalent of navigator, weapons master, that sort of thing. It does the external stuff for the ship.
Pilot probably quit because he wasn't getting paid. That's why they hired.
Well, I
possibly, and that's another reason why I was attractive to the captain is I'm cheap.
Yes. So I like the idea. It's an older ship. It's kind of patches and gum holding it together. But the important and key feature is that it's a charter ship.
Yes.
Right. It's and now
and
know,
it does
now
have
it's
cargo
Gilligan's
holds.
Island,
It does
right,
have,
in my head.
Yeah.
And uncharted desert isle incoming. But yes, so perfect.
Yeah, and so it normally has a skeleton crew of its own, just enough to be, for the charter to actually do it. So it's not like the captain commanded the ship, but he was the owner and he did line up the charters and he did make sure that, things went the way they were supposed to get where we're supposed to go, so that the ship knows what it, so that the mission actually mechanically happens, sort of thing.
Okay. So that answers the next question, which is who owns the starship, which is dead captain.
Yep.
So technically now nobody owns the starship, unless possession is ownership, in which case we own it.
Well, there's a couple possibilities. I mean, it could be that we've technically stolen it because it would be the captain's heirs who would have owned it. It could be that as the sole surviving crew member, Raven would own it. It could be, it depends on, it could be, scavenge laws, we have it, therefore all we have to do is go register it because the prior crew died.
Yep. Okay, so there's a whole table here for envision the starship for pick one or for quirks, particular quirks. Would you like to roll on the table and then you deal with them, or did you want to tell me what parts? Okay.
That would be fine.
So you said
How
it's
do
an
we roll
older
on a
ship.
table?
How many quirks does this ship have?
Oh, at least 4.
Okay, so let's do 4 quirks.
How does
Each of
one
us.
roll a quirk? Where's the
Just
table
roll
for
D100 4 times.
D100?
You
2 in the 80s, 1 in the 20s, 1 in the 40s.
83 and an 84. Those are both the same thing. And they're really simple. Somebody marked the hull with graffiti during a recent layover. Twice. There's 2 different places. Oh, they're gang signs from different gangs. And 29 is the hull rattles and groans in atmospheric flight. I better write down graffiti.
That sounds on brand.
But
Yeah.
is it happy groans or is it angry groans? It's a very important
The only
difference.
person who's really going to know that is going to be
informative
Raven.
groans.
Yeah. Yes, informative groans.
Informative groans. You know, by listening, I can
That's
tell. Oh, okay,
concerning.
it's under stress, but it's under stress, but it's okay. It's okay. Oh, we just lost something.
Yeah. And then the last one, I really like this. Navigation logs contain coordinates to locations that do not or should not exist.
Where's Earth?
Or do we want to re-roll that one?
I mean, it could be resulting from prior charters, but we would have been really quiet about it because that's not the kind of thing you want to broadcast. Although that is the kind of thing that would make this ship of value to scavengers, which is why there would be legal battles when we get back, regardless of what the rules are, what the laws are around scavenge. The log stuff in the log could make this ship very valuable. That log is very valuable.
That makes perfect sense. And I rolled an extra one just because I'm bored. And got placards and control panels are in an uncommon language. So you can fix stuff because you talk to the ship, but nobody else knows what the buttons mean because we can't read Cyrillic.
Yeah, and they're worn off. And they're worn off, and it's like, oh, that one's been rewired. Don't touch that one.
Yeah, it also reinforced it being made of iron, which people wouldn't normally make that kind of panel out of.
Yes. So yeah, I like that because that literally means you're the only one that knows what the ship means. Mm-hmm. And then we have a name. Okay.
This is Raven. She comes with the ship.
Yeah. Step 6. Choose your final asset. This is, we talked about 2 earlier, and I think some of us mentioned our 3rd asset earlier, but for those that haven't, Dr. Aname, did you mention your 3rd asset before? Or have you chosen one yet? Because you have a choice with your 3rd asset. The first 2 were based on your paths. This one can be a module for the ship, a support vehicle, a companion, or another path.
And choose something that fits your character. I would discourage you from choosing a module for the ship because your character wouldn't have had any reason to do that before. Unless there was something you particularly wanted. It's like,
this is my space gear.
Speaking of which, Scooter, you took your scooter, right? Your hover bike?
My hover bike, Lucky 13.
Yeah, so that you added a support vehicle. All I see is like a Harley strapped to the side of the spaceship.
A little bit. My brain immediately goes to a speeder bike from Star Wars.
Yep.
So something along those lines. It is big enough for a 2nd person, so I don't think a sidecar would be appropriate. So somebody's riding on the back.
Yep, there's the 2nd one. Okay, I took a survey bot, which can go ahead of us and give us bonuses when we're going places we haven't been before. Raven?
Mine was the scavenger.
Right, you added scavenger.
And that was how I put together the other ones, and it adds into the jury rigging.
That triangle. Yes. And Dr. Anime, we don't have to do it right now, but there is a 3rd one that you have a choice
I am personally leaning towards medbay. So at the very least, even if it wasn't there is something like that on the ship that Dr. James kind of...
Oh, I like this because...
That makes sense, because you could say, I'm not going on that ship without a med bay, so we bring in a med unit.
Yeah, and it didn't get wrecked during the ship because, as we determined earlier, medicine is very hands-on and physical, and it's not machines and software. So it's nobody broke your splints, right? They're still working.
Yeah.
So okay, so you get a
So
medical
you
bay.
come.
So,
He has like
so going directly
pallet of
against the
stuff
bite, you
follows
added a
him off the
module.
ship.
But that makes sense.
It makes
that makes
sense.
sense.
Works, yeah.
It's like, I'm coming on. I'm bringing a med bay too. This
Yep.
is why you hired an actual medic. This is, yeah, I like that.
So stats, we finally get to stats. There's only 5 stats in this game, and it is so minimal, the stats. They're edge, which is your quickness, ability, and fighting at a distance. Heart, which is courage, willpower, empathy, sociability, and loyalty. Iron, which is your physical strength, your endurance, your aggressiveness, and your prowess when fighting in close quarters. Shadow, which is sneakiness, deceptive, and cunning. And wits, which is expertise, knowledge, and observation. You get 1 3, 2 2s, 2 1s. And that's your choices. Standard array, here it is. So, as an example, I'll do mine first again. My character, I mean, he's a doctor. So wits is 3. His shadow and heart are 2. So in my head, he's very courageous. He has a lot of willpower. He can be deceptive and cunning. He's not sneaky like sneaking around. He's sneaky like tricking people to do stuff by talking them into it. And his 2 things he's no good at are physical strength and quickness and agility. His physical body is not what he does his brilliance with. Scooter. And now at the other end of the spectrum, Scooter.
I think I'm actually going to change 2 of my stats.
Yep.
I went with my shadow at 3.
Yep.
So he's
Sneaky
he's a liar.
Yep. Yep.
Edge and heart at 2 because you need to be quick on your feet and crazy as hell to do some of the things Scooter does.
Yep.
And then iron and wits at 1.
Okay.
Scooter is, I'd say he's clever, but he's not smart.
Yeah. He's
He'd
sneaky.
rather run than fight.
Yeah, he's sneaky and deceptive and cunning rather than informed or educated. Love it. Raven?
So I went with heart as 3, as my 3, and that's also very Kylie-like from Serenity.
Yeah.
I went with edge and wits as 2, so that, I can grab things fast, I can put them together, it goes in with the scavenging and how I maintain things. And iron and shadow are 1. There is not a bit of deception anywhere in me, and physical strength, aggressiveness. No, I am a wallflower. So this is how I used, you take the character and you describe the character in the system.
The numbers, absolutely. So the next one is automatic because the sheet's doing it for us, but we got to talk about it.
Just
Because
to throw my stats in.
sorry, I forgot our doctor.
good.
Damn it!
And
I forgot
you haven't
the doctor.
done yours either, so.
I did mine first.
Start with yours.
He did
Oh,
his first.
okay, yeah. You're right.
Sorry.
I just
Being a
dissed
doctor,
the other doctor. Sorry.
That's good. I threw wits at 3, being a doctor, and all the studying is like, okay, yeah, no knowledge is going to be up there. So it's funny. Otherwise, numbers are very similar to the Ravens, with edge and heart being 2. He's definitely more dexterous and like quick with his hands rather than being more brute strength.
Yeah.
As far as everything else, his shadow was at 1. He literally cannot hold the truth from other people to literally save his profession.
Yes, that's why he's here, is because he can't keep his
He's
mouth
here 'cause
shut.
he cannot keep his mouth shut and try to be like, oh yeah, I'll hold the deception. He's like, nah, I
Yeah.
will tell the truth as it is. So his shadow is at 1.
Perfect.
So yes.
Okay.
So it's interesting that I don't think any of us have an iron greater than 1, do we?
Nope. So
Those are the people who died in the disaster.
Yeah, the physical strength. If there's heavy stuff that needs lifting, we're gonna have to find a robot to do it. All right, well, build one. Scooter will drive it through the wall. We'll call it the Kool-Aid van. Anyway, Step 8. Condition meters and momentum meters. We talked about momentum before. Starts at 2, can go as high as 10. When you use it instead of your roll, it resets to 2. And when you have conditions that will be applied when you're injured and things like that, that 2 goes down. So if you have to if you have a condition and you have to reset your momentum, it goes to 1, not 2. And you have to build it up from there. The other ones, health, spirit, and supply, are keeping track of essentially your hit points, your morale, and your supplies. If any of them drop down to 0, things get real bad. Health wise, you're unconscious out of the fight. Spirit wise, you've lost the will to continue. And supply, we got no food, or no
Isn't
gas, or no
supply in
oxygen.
common?
And supply is a shared one, yes. Supply, we all live or die on the same supply pile. So, and the nice thing is we're in space, so supply can always be oxygen. Right? There's a leak and it's running out.
Yay!
Yeah. So, but yeah, that the character sheets do that for us, and we'll be keeping track of that as we move through the game. And you heard us, the moves tell you specifically when to add momentum and when to change your stats. So, number 9, we've already very much done. Your envision your characters. We've picked art from the book, from the manual. But yeah, what isn't in the picture? So let's go around and do that. What isn't in the picture? Raven. What stands out when we see Raven?
You have to be watching in order to really notice Raven, in order to see Raven. You have to make a choice to be observant. Otherwise, she's just doing stuff. Nobody knows what she's doing. She's just off in the corner doing stuff and doesn't interact a lot.
Yep.
You have to choose to watch in order to see.
Perfect.
Which also means she, even without shadow, she can disappear pretty easily.
Yep. Scooter. You look pretty pretty noticeable. The opposite of invisible.
Yeah, Scooter, he never stops moving. Less restless leg syndrome, spinning around in his chair.
Yeah.
First couple weeks of this trip, he spent a lot of time in the cabin, up in the cradle there, because he didn't want anybody to know he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Try to watch the real pilot.
Yeah, watch the real pilot. He's got headphones in, listening to the iron tube tutorials on how to fly a ship.
Yeah.
It's fine when it's in Atmo and you flying from here to there is the same, but once these ships leave the system, I don't know what the hell's going on.
I love it. Yeah.
He also similarly, because void ships are a little bit different in manufacture and stuff. The fact that this ship is noisy, he does not trust that. Every little bump and creak and groan.
Oh, good. The pilot's going. Every time he has to drive into the atmosphere. Dr.
It's not
James,
supposed to be making that noise now, is it?
Dr. James, what about Dr. James did we not see in that picture?
Probably the biggest thing the reason I kind of picked it is because really it's, as far as exploring goes, it feels like kind of the greenest picture. So it's not somebody that's been exploring forever. It's like, okay, he's finally landed planet side. So the one thing that's not on the picture is, as we kind of discussed really before we went live, is his medical license. So it is not a piece of paper in this universe. So as I said, medics are exceptionally rare, and they actually more have a cross-shaped badge with their name actually etched onto it.
Yep.
So that is actually on it.
So your diploma is iron.
Yes.
Yeah.
The diploma is actually like a piece of iron that he was kind of, only really the best way to describe it is entrusted.
Yes.
So he's kind of entrusted this iron. That's kind of his vow to kind of really help people and heal people where he can.
So you've taken a Hippocratic iron vow, kind of?
Effectively, but not
in so many words. Yeah.
Is it in the form of an Asclepius? Is it the
windy snakes on a steak? Is it Caduceus?
It's there.
I was more thinking like kind of plus shape would have survived a little bit better than the
probably red cross, red crescent sort of thing.
Yeah.
More like the international symbol for
that makes sense. Here. It's just the big red plus.
Yeah, it's the big red plus that just has his name
and
etched on.
Iron rusts, so
yeah.
That reddish tinge.
Yeah, and it would get redder and redder the longer you had it, so you would be able to tell how long someone had been a doctor by how rusty their diploma was.
It's like a black belt.
Yeah. I love that. And
So that is kind of hanging from his neck, but it's more like a leather necklace that's like reinforced in such a way that it's not going to break. That's literally him as a person, or kind of what he's become and what he's strived for.
It's almost like a breastplate.
It's actually, it can very easily be a vow that you have finished. Like you vowed to finish medical school, and you did. So it is it's an iron vow that you have managed to achieve by becoming a doctor. I think that works. Yeah.
Oh man,
Even that's like the reward for it.
Yeah.
That's your first
day
there.
The iron you swore on. Yeah. And if you drop out, they melt your cross down and give it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's the punishment. Is like they don't give it to you until you're done. Then when you get it back, it's slightly rusted. So okay, I finally passed.
Yeah, and that makes sense here because a key element in this game is vows matter. They're not just empty promises. Failure to achieve your vow or failure to work towards your vow over time has real in-game consequences. Major consequences. You can be totally screwed if you don't follow your vow, even if you don't believe in it anymore.
Yeah, that came up when we played Ironsworn. In fact,
Bill's
very much,
founding vow became utterly pointless in about 3 episodes.
Forsworn.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's our character. Oh, I didn't do mine. Almost snuck away. The thing that's not in the picture is the imposter syndrome. Bill is like rank number. He's the dude, right? He's Stephen Hawking, and he doesn't believe his own publicity. It's all just he's convinced he can tell a damn good story, and he's really good at math. But that does not mean that the things that he says in maths are real in any way, shape, or form. And that's what he's going out here to prove. And that's why he kind of wants to prove himself wrong, because he wants to be an imposter, because he doesn't like being a success. But that's certainly not going to show. Step 10, name your characters. If you want the pronunciation of mine, it's all lowercase on purpose. He's one of those people. It's Belize, like the country, except not Belize, it's Belize. Belize Exter.
Alvin Scooter Hobbs.
Raven, how's your last name pronounced?
Sansi.
Raven Sansi. Just like it's spelled.
Just like it's spelled.
And it's James Aname, right? Of Naman Station?
Aname.
Okay, perfect. Not anime. Aname.
Anime is for the cartoon adaptation.
Yeah. When somebody uses AI to do Ghibli art of all of us. Right. Step 11. We're finally here. Holy crap. And it's only been 2 hours. We're down near there. Gearing up. Everybody here has a spacer kit. It's the equivalent of the D&D bag o' goodies. You've got a spacesuit. You've got flashlights. You've got toolkits. You've got a med kit. Everybody's got a first aid kit. You've got a med bay, right? It's different. And we've all got personal communicators. So we've all got communicating devices. And then each of us got to choose 4 or 5 personal items. And it's the last part of character creation. And I think that's a perfect way to take us to the sector creation. Unless we want to do that, I'm just looking at the time. Let's finish this and then decide what we want to do for time-wise. So personal items. Let's just go around the table. And what 4 or 5 personal items did Scooter bring?
Okay, Scooter's favorite item is his switchblade. He named it Last Resort, and he loves it so much because it doubles as a comb. He presses a button when he hits the switch, and a bunch of tines pop out.
Okay.
He has his data slate Drift for Dummies. So he's kind of learning on the fly.
Yeah.
He has a cred chip with the job's pay.
Yep.
That he got from Gearbox to get there. A marked set of six card because he can't help himself. And his forged license, which is actually a iron aluminum mix.
Even his iron isn't real. That's horrible. What a little
That's
prick.
the worst. Oh,
I am playing a character that does not believe in the founding
Yeah.
I'm playing a character that does not believe in the founding principles of the game.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's wonderful. I'll go next. We can save because I wanted to see Ravens and I want them to be last because I think they're going to be the most interesting. Belize has his thesis on all but indestructible digital file that he doesn't believe in, but it's it's got him his doctorate degree in the good office in the corner. He's got the equivalent of a PC on his wrist, which is mostly full of references, obscure cosmological references. He's got his diploma, which in his case is not on iron because it's just a diploma. So it's on pseudo sheepskin. And he has a metronome, just a small little old school tick 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 metronome. Raven.
Did we already do
No,
Dr.
we did not
James?
do James yet again.
Did I skip you again? Son
Perhaps.
of a bitch. Oh,
I know,
my
you
God.
see one doctor, it's like, there's one
It's
doctor.
like only one
It's like,
doctor on this boat. I'm already playing power games
It's okay, I
with
was kind of slightly writing as I went.
you. Yeah, okay. Dr. James.
It's okay.
Let's go yours.
So, other than the
Oh,
spacer
shit.
kit, I am going to include medical tools separately because
You the medic kit.
he kind of has his own.
Yeah.
And it's also part of the reason I only have 3 because medical tools is a little bit, basically a quite broad category of stuff to have with
Yeah.
it. So other than that, he has the iron badge, which we talked about a little bit ago. And the last one is a data slate similar to what Scooter has, even though Scooter's is full of, hey, how to be a pilot. James's has kind of his notes that he took from university, especially going off on your own, and you don't have, the entire library available to you.
Yes.
You just have what you brought with you.
Fair. Okay. I know what screwed me up that time, at least, because we talked about the iron thing that you had, so I
Yeah.
assumed that we talked about everything else. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Raven.
Well, I don't know how interesting Raven's things. I mean, she has got tools and more tools and miscellaneous pieces and more miscellaneous pieces
Bits and bobs.
Yeah.
and what Kevin's been waiting for, a ragdoll.
A ragdoll. Okay, I was wondering. Okay.
It has secrets, but you don't know about that.
Do you have, say, a favorite like wrencher tool that you like to use like the most out of all of your wrenches?
Well, I don't really think of my tools as like wrenches or screwdrivers or welders or things like that. I don't think of them. It's like I'm
It's
trying to
Fred
do
and
this.
Mary.
I grab something and I use it for that.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have, like,
So
a
I might
family
use
in your
I might
toolbox?
use wrenches and screwdrivers interchangeably, for example. And
Yep, whatever fits.
I need a
Okay.
hammer, but it won't fit. Give me a wrench.
Yeah.
We are already at 2 hours, pretty much 2 hours into this, and we still have a lot to go. We still have a whole sector to build, and that's got 11 steps to it. And then there's some other stuff, and then we get to the instigating event. So what I would like to suggest is that we call it here for tonight. We start next week with the event. We start with role-playing the maybe a little bit of background about the 2 weeks that it took to get here, and then the event where we pop out of space where we shouldn't be, and then we build the sector that we're in as part of that exploration of trying to figure out where the hell we are. And that way we can work that into our first episode and still probably have time to make our first steps towards figuring out what we want to do from there. Does that work?
and because the instigating event can be rather sudden. It's like, what do we do from here? That's gonna start leading us into some
And
role
that
play.
will, when we look out the windows, yeah, what do we see, right? When we hit
I'm
when we
excited
hit
for
scan, yeah, what do we see? So yeah, we'll build the sector next week when we pop up into it. That way we literally don't know what we're going into, and nobody can plan a damn thing over the next week.
And I would like to invite viewers.
Yes.
Join us. This is a collaborative game. The Dirty 20 gaming community is a collaborative community. Join us in Discord if you have ideas about whatever the instigating. Oh, somebody beat me to it. Hey, you beat me, Kevin!
First
Good for
time
you!
ever.
Woo-hoo!
First time ever.
No,
No, I'm only
if you
3
have
mistakes
ideas
behind
about
tonight. Yeah.
what happened to badly damage our ship, kill our captain, and other ancillary people that were on board and are no longer, and cast us out into kind of space. So if you have ideas about what caused this and all,
Mhm. Let us know.
come join us
Yep.
and chat. We have a channel in our Discord for Starsworn.
Yep. Our public chat so that everybody can
Uh-huh.
get involved.
Yep, come join us.
Whew. I'm going to turn
And
all
yes.
this into notes, and we'll put that both in that public chat that you were just talking about and in our cast chat, so we all have the notes, and I'll pin the heck out of it in both those places. But that's going to happen later tonight, because I need to go and do some stuff that isn't Starsworn. There's actually a warning that says, don't try and do this all in one night, and I went, we're consummate professionals, and we got precisely exactly as much done as they said we were going to get done in one night. So, damn it, Sean Tompkins. Sean Tompkin, I think it's singular.
Almost
Anyway.
like he knew.
Oh, it's almost like he done research and play tested and shit. Almost like this isn't his first game. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining into this. We have only just begun. You're going to see roleplay like you saw tonight. Tonight was, it says it right in the book. This is part of the game. That's why we're streaming session 0. Normally we don't. But it's part of the game because there is no GM. We're playing it co-op. So we all input stuff, and you saw tonight, and this is going to happen during the game too. If something ship-related happens, we're going to lean on Karis to tell us what happens because her character is the one with the ship. When we start landing on planets, we're going to start looking at Dr. James for his planetary skills. Scooter's going to fail to fly us into a sun at least one occasion. So yeah, we've all got our things that we're gonna do, but we're gonna start all of that next week.
Oh no, Scooter's the goblin.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yep. So, with that, thank you so much to Mudkip, Bison _ Stonefist, and Cara Sophia for joining me, Kevin, here tonight to play this game because that's what we did. Our world is built, our characters are built, our ship is built. It's time to crash it and see what happens. We will do that next week. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody that popped in this week. Not everybody wants to watch a session 0. I get it. But thank you for the folks that did. And pop in next week when we start actually making rolls. I think it will become clearer how this game actually works. But until then, as always, if you watched us, please hit the like button and all those good things. Hit the thumb, all that good stuff. But the really important part, until the next time we see you, please make an effort to be nice to each other. Good night.
Bye.